Hello there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I am very excited to finally delve into spellcasting. This video is a part of my series, The Complete Guide to Spellcraft, and at this point we have finally covered every single thing you need to before you can cast spells. This includes topics like intent, the different kinds of spell preparations there are, and the favorable times to cast spells. After this video, I will share 2 more videos talking about adapting spells and also creating your own spells. But this video is going to be focused entirely on just the casting of spells. This series follows along with the book I wrote, The Green Witch's Guide to Herbal Magic. And if you want to follow along, you can find this chapter on page 163. When you begin practicing magic, spellcasting is a major part of the practice, if not one of the most primary parts of the practice. It's where a lot of the allure to magic and witchcraft comes from, and when first finding your footing in spellcasting, I find it's best to observe others, following spells that are already written, like the many that I've shared here, or the over 50 that are shared within this book. It gives you an opportunity to begin with a baseline, find which ways you really enjoy practicing, and have powerful results. As I said, today I will be focusing solely on the casting of spells, so this knowledge will be useful whenever following any spell that you come across, whether it's in my book, on this channel, or anybody else's spellcraft that they've shared with you. There are many different styles of spellcasting and spellcraft, but in general, this system will work with them all. So I'm excited to delve into this, but before we do, this video is sponsored, so let's talk a little bit more about that first. As the days begin to darken, my crafts will focus more within the home. And this fall and winter, I want to better my skills with sewing. I've been sewing for many years, but I mostly sew by instinct. A little tuck here, a little button there, and would very much like to become better versed in using patterns. So to do this, I have been taking some courses on Craftsy. And Craftsy just so happens to be the sponsor of this video. Craftsy is your online resource for all things creative. From the class I'm taking called Pattern Alterations, Fixing Fit Issues by Ashley Ho, to the last one I enjoyed called Bold Baking Academy, All About Cakes by Gemma Stafford. I've been able to learn so much and delve into areas of creativity that I've long been meaning to, but just didn't know where to begin, until now. The sewing class has inspired me and taught me new ways of clothing creation that I've long been dreaming of. I'm so excited to integrate this learning into the clothes I hope to make in the seasons to come. And the baking class showed me a ton of new ways of baking cakes that came in handy as I enjoyed all the spring and summer forageables of the past 2 seasons. Craftsy is always creating new classes to keep you inspired. They teach through instructional videos taught by talented and friendly experts. They walk you through each technique with step-by-step demonstrations, providing their expert tips and tricks. You can even connect with other makers and DIY lovers to ask questions, share ideas, and stay inspired. As a member, you'll have access to Craftsy's live streaming tutorials where their expert instructors share their tips, answer questions, and engage with the Craftsy community in real time. So if this sounds interesting to you, go to craftsy.com/thegreenwitch5 and get the first full year of Craftsy Premium for only $149. Offer valid for new members only. Thank you to Craftsy for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's delve into casting spells. Once you have found a spell that you wish to cast, whether that be in the book, on a website, from one of my videos, there will be a number of ingredients and materials that you will need to gather before you can cast the spell. This includes components of the preparation, such as cloth for a spell bag, jars for spell jars, oils for infused oils, particles for cleansing the space, and of course the herbs or ingredients of the spell. Every spell that I shared within my book and the spells that I share here come with material lists, and so it should be pretty easy to gather all that you'll need. Now, while it is a good idea to have everything accounted for before you begin a spell, don't worry if you've forgotten something. It's okay to step away and grab something you need in the midst of spell work, so don't feel too pressured if you've missed anything. It can kind of bring you out of the zone to walk away and grab something new, but do some breathing exercises, come back to center, and it'll be all right. Once you've gathered all of the materials for your spell, it's a good idea to cleanse the area where you will be working. Now, this step is not always necessary. Say you're in a pinch or you want to do something very simple, or the energy that you were working around and in feels really good. If I'm working outside, for example, I won't follow a cleansing because the outdoors doesn't really need it. But when I'm in my own magical workspace, this is in my home, it does get stagnant and the energy is collected from the rest of the house there. So taking the time to cleanse the space before spell work allows the energy to flow more freely and with an air of what I want it to have. You may also wish to cleanse the tools and ingredients that you're using, such as a spell jar or the cloth that you're using in the spell bag, just to get rid of any lingering energy that may be there. And for larger workings, you may wish to cleanse yourself, or for specific workings where you are actively working on the energy of the self. Doing a cleansing for yourself allows you to have this blank slate where you can easily engage with the energy you wish to, instead of competing with more stagnant or stubborn energies. Now, there are many different ways to perform cleansings. Personally, I favor smoke cleansings done with either burning herb bundles or incense blends. In these instances, you burn a herb that ties to purification and cleansing that will clear the energy of the space. I favor cedar for this, or rosemary for more intense workings. There are also blends that you can craft. Say you're doing a spell for calm. Burn some calming herbs to kind of set the energy of the space and that tone similar to the spell you're working. For smoke cleansings, all you need to do is waft the smoke around the area where you will be working. If it's contained in a room, take care of the whole room, or pass your tools and ingredients over the smoke. Now, if a smoke cleanse is not possible for you, you can also do the exact same practice using a simmer pot, and instead of smoke, you're using steam. Alternatively, you can sweep the energy of this space or use anointing oils or infusions. Personally, I do prefer sweeping the space, simmer pots, or smoke cleanses just because they really have an effect on all of the energy. But using an infused oil or just an infusion to anoint what you are working on can have a powerful effect as well. Just be mindful that oils and water may not always mix with what you are working on. Like I mentioned before, you can work with just one ingredient for this, such as cedar, my preferred herb for cleansings, or you can work with blends. I do both. I think working with one herb is very simple and it's something that I prefer for the majority of my workings. But if I'm working on something that is a larger scale where I would like the energy of the space to be a little more tied to the working, I do enjoy blends then. Take some time, test out all the different methods, and find what feels best to you. But regardless of the preparation or herb you've chosen for this practice is kind of like a spell before a spell, and it's important to imbue this with intent. And if you need a refresher on intent, go ahead and jump back in this playlist to the video on intent, because that is such a primary part of spellcasting. But just as you will be imbuing the spell to come with intent, you need to imbue the cleansing with intent. This is a fantastic time to ground and really center your energy and get into that mindset for Spellcraft. Alright, now that we've gathered our ingredients and cleansed, it is time to begin casting the actual spell. The act of casting a spell can look pretty different from one spell to the next, but the root of it is the same. You need a strong, clear intent, an appropriate preparation, corresponding components, and ideally attuned timing. And all of these prerequisites are outlined in all of the spells that I've shared in my book, along with the spells that I share here. And we've gone through at this point all of these details through this series, so if you want a refresher on any of those ideas, you can find them in this playlist. So after you've gathered your materials and taken the time to cleanse, it's time to begin moving through these remaining motions of spellwork, starting first by attuning your intent. I'm not going to cover intent in full here, but for a little refresher, take time to ground, find rhythm in your breathing, focus on the energy that you want to bring to the spell, and draw your focus onto that intention. Pull up that energy and hone in on your intent using whichever method of imbuing intent that is most comfortable to you, whether this is sensation, visualization, or incantation. And you can use a combination as well. Once you feel comfortable with your intent and have a strong hold on it, it is time to begin imbuing it through these methods. Now, the way you imbue your intent into spells will look different depending on the spell worked. So for something like a spell bag or a spell jar, where the ingredients, the herbs, will be placed into the vessel, I personally like to take some time with each ingredient, cup them in my hands, and imbue them with intent. Again, either through sensing intent, visualizing intent, or incanting intent, or a combination of them all. Once I feel that these ingredients are imbued with my intent, I place it into the vessel, the spell bag, or the jar. And I do this with each ingredient added, taking time to focus that energy and place it into these ingredients. It's vital to remain focused and keep a very clear intent during this practice. After I've completed this step with each ingredient, I like to seal off the jar or the spell bag and spend another moment imbuing it with my intent as a whole. This weaves it all together energetically and kind of finalizes the spell. Then I place the spell wherever it will serve me best. Say it's a sleep spell bag, then placing that next to the bed or under the pillow is ideal. Or it's a safe travels spell jar. Keeping that in a bag wherever I go is the best place for it. Now, other preparations can be worked with very similarly. Something like a hanging herb bundle. While I'm not placing my ingredients into a jar or a bag, I'm tying them off and weaving them together. I still like to spend time with each of the individual components before I place them together. Again, imbuing them individually with intent, then tying them all together and spending another moment focusing on the energy of the spell as a whole before placing it wherever it is best going to serve. Regardless of the preparation and the way of crafting it, it's important to spend time imbuing intent in whatever way it works best for you. Again, check out the video on intent if you want a refresher. It's also important to keep in mind for spells that will take a longer time, such as making infused oils or decoctions and infusions. You are going to step away from this spell at times. An infused oil can take 4 to 6 weeks to craft. And because of this, it becomes a little bit of a more involved practice, and they're some of my favorites. Often these practices begin similarly, imbuing your intent into the herbs and the oil and putting it all together in one. But then you leave it be, you allow it to infuse, and this gives you the added benefit of imbuing it with even more energy over time. So coming back to visit the oil and spending that time again imbuing your intent into it daily or whenever you remember. If you're making a decoction or an infusion, spending time stirring the herbs in the water, connecting to them and allowing your intent to flow as you visit. Now for spells that you use over and over again, something like burning herb bundles, incenses, or powders, even tea blends, this is something that when you engage with it are actively burning the burning herb bundle, making a cup of tea, sprinkling a powder, or burning an incense. These are new moments of spell work. It's not just a crafted and placed somewhere, it is an active casting every time you engage with it. And for these moments, our intent was imbued when we crafted these items and should be imbued whenever we work with them again. Use your intuition and awareness to choose which methods are best for spellcasting. In these instances, the major difference is how you work your intent. Luckily, it is all pretty straightforward. Now, once a spell has served its purpose, or no longer functions as well as it used to, it is time to dispose of the spell. Now, for spells that I would like to keep up, like protective charms, you can kind of give them a little more oomph. I like to sprinkle ginger on them, that can keep them going for a little longer. Or I like to remake them. But to remake them, you still have to dispose of the previous spell ingredients. Personally, I shift a lot of my spells seasonally, and so this is a very seasonal practice for me. Now, there are a number of ways to dispose of spells, but it's important to note that spell disposal should only be done with ingredients that can be disposed of. You're very welcome to reuse components of old spells, like spell jars if you want to reuse the glass jar that you may have used, or other components of spells that are non-biodegradable or not easily biodegradable. There are also spells that kind of dispose of themselves, such as incense and burning herb bundles. As they burn, they are getting rid of the physical nature of them. So spells like that don't need to be disposed of. Their function does it itself. But for spells like spell jars and spell bags or hanging herb bundles, the energy needs to be released in a respectful and effective way. Truly, the means of disposal are pretty endless, but I personally prefer burying the herbs, casting them into a water source, or burning them. And each one you would choose for a different reason. Now, there are some safety things that you should be aware of. Don't bury invasive species, plants that could grow, and make sure if you are casting something into the water that it is safe to be cast into the water. All of these should be biodegradable as well. We are working alongside the energies of the earth, and you want to take care of it, so make sure you are making good choices for the planet. Natural fiber cloths are good to bury, but they are not good to cast into the water. Same with glass spell jars. That's why they're wonderful to reuse, but not something that can so readily be reabsorbed by the earth. So just use common sense on this matter. Stuff that you reuse, you just can cleanse and work with again. It's also important to note that burning herbs comes with its own dangers, and there are some magical implications as well. But first, let's talk about burying herbs. Burying herbs is one of my favorite ways of practice. It allows the energy of the spell that remains, or what was absorbed, to go slowly back into the earth, and the energy is reabsorbed and distributed well. Casting spells into water carries that energy away, whereas fire releases it. So if you did a spell to work on releasing emotions, burying it or casting it into water is a very effective means of disposing of the spell. But burning it could re-release those emotions toward you. Now, burning as a means of disposal can be really good for positive spells. Say you've been working on a spell, imbuing it with hopes for prosperity and happiness. Releasing that energy that has built up can have a very positive effect. So again, the disposal of spellwork is something that just takes a little bit of thinking and following your intuition. Now, the very final step to spellcraft is the carry-through, and this is something that I don't feel like is talked about very often. Magic is something that should align with other acts of intention. Crafting a spell and casting it for good health while following only bad health actions is not going to have a very strong effect. Or similarly, casting a spell for a new job and not taking any action to seek a new job is not going to help it open more doors to opportunity. These are suggestive forces that can add oomph to other actions and open pathways, but you have to be actively engaging with these pathways for them to actually work. So carrying through with spellwork, stepping forward into these opportunities that are presented, and engaging intentionally with the energies you are seeking outside of just spellcasting is essential for its success. In my opinion, these mundane aspects of the craft are still a part of the craft. The carry through is just as essential as the spell itself. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this discussion on spellcasting. Soon I will be teaching on adapting and crafting from scratch. Been really enjoying this series and I can't wait to delve into it more. If you wish to buy my book to follow along, I'll have that all linked in the description down below. And if you can and would like to, you can check out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. It's what supports what I create over here, and I would really appreciate it if you checked it out if you would like to. I also have another channel where I share more day-to-day life, more magic, herbalism, all those good things. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I can't wait to see you again soon.